There's something strange you've probably never noticed. Some places became so famous, they escaped their own country. People recognize the photos, know the skyline, dream about visiting, but ask where these places actually are, and suddenly, people hesitate. Not because the country is unknown, but because the place became bigger. Today we're exploring places that became more famous than their country, and by the end, you'll realize you've probably done this without even noticing. But before we start, if you enjoy discovering places that completely change the way you see the world, subscribe and join us. Now, let's begin. First up, Bali. Try something. Say the word Bali. What comes to your mind? Probably not Indonesia. You imagine escape. Luxury villas hidden in jungles. Rice terraces stretching into the distance. Beach clubs. Surfing. Slow mornings. Golden sunsets. That's the interesting part. Bali stopped feeling like an island. It became an emotion, a dream destination. People plan entire trips around Bali. People talk about Bali, save Bali, recommend Bali, but they rarely talk about Indonesia. And that's surprising, because Indonesia is enormous, one of the biggest countries in the world. Thousands of islands, massive cities, volcanoes, ancient temples, wildlife, different cultures, entire worlds inside one country. Yet globally, one island stole most of the attention. People don't say, "I'm going to Indonesia." They say, "I'm going to Bali." That tiny difference tells you everything. One destination became stronger than the country itself. But Bali became famous because people wanted to escape. The next place became famous because it demanded attention. Dubai. Dubai feels different. It doesn't feel discovered. It feels designed. Designed to become unforgettable. Everything there pushes limits. Taller buildings, bigger hotels, more ambitious ideas, artificial islands, luxury cars, architecture that looks impossible. And somehow, it worked. Dubai became one of the most recognizable names on Earth. People who never traveled know Dubai. People who don't follow travel know Dubai. People who don't know geography still know Dubai. But here's the strange part. Ask people to quickly name the country, and not everyone immediately says United Arab Emirates. That's powerful. A city becoming more recognizable than a nation. Dubai became more than a destination. It became an identity. Luxury, success, modern life. For some people, Dubai isn't even a city anymore. It's an idea. But the next place did the exact opposite. No giant buildings, no luxury, no massive marketing, just one unforgettable image. Santorini. You already know it, even if you've never searched for it. White houses, blue rooftops, narrow streets, cliffs above endless water. One photo, and almost everyone recognizes it. That's rare. Entire countries struggle to create identity. Santorini did it naturally. People save photos years before they ever visit. People imagine proposals there, honeymoons, dream vacations. And because of that, many people recognize Santorini instantly, but take longer to remember Greece. That's unbelievable when you think about it, because Greece gave the world history, philosophy, ancient cities, thousands of islands. Yet one small island became the image everyone remembers. That's the power of visuals. But now, let's go somewhere completely different. Machu Picchu. No beaches, no luxury, no skyscrapers, just mystery. Hidden among mountains, surrounded by clouds, built hundreds of years ago, and still making people ask, how? People see one picture and instantly recognize it. Adventure, history, discovery. For millions of people, Machu Picchu became Peru. That's how powerful this place became. One ancient site became larger than the country in global imagination. And once again, the same pattern appears. People remember places, not borders. They remember feelings, stories, images. Which brings us to what comes next. Because the next places didn't just become famous, they became symbols. Places people know instantly, even if they know almost nothing about the country behind them. And one of them became so iconic, people sometimes think the place is the country. Let's keep going. But here's where this gets even more interesting. Because the next places didn't just become famous, they became symbols. Places people recognize instantly, even if they know almost nothing about the country behind them. And this first one might be one of the strongest examples in the world. Petra. An entire city carved directly into stone. No modern machines, no cranes, no advanced technology. Just giant structures built into cliffs centuries ago. And somehow, people still look at it and ask, how did they do this? That's probably why Petra became unforgettable. It doesn't feel normal. It feels impossible. You walk through narrow stone canyons, and suddenly, this enormous carved structure appears in front of you. That moment alone turned Petra into something bigger than tourism. Movies made it famous, travel channels made it iconic, photos spread across the internet, and eventually, millions of people knew Petra. But not everyone knew Jordan. That's the strange thing. One ancient city became more recognizable than an entire country. And Jordan has so much more. Deserts, history, ancient sites, mountains, culture. Yet Petra became the face people remember. One image, one place, one identity. But the next place became famous for the opposite reason. Not history, not mystery, perfection. The Maldives. Think about what appears in your mind immediately. Water villas, clear blue water, private beaches, breakfast floating in pools, perfect sunsets. People don't even talk about it like a country. They talk about it like an experience. People say, I want to go to the Maldives. Not because they know the cities, not because they know the culture, because they know the feeling. Relaxation, luxury, escape. That image became so powerful, many people imagine the entire country as one giant resort. But the reality is very different. People live there, work there, build communities there. There are schools, busy streets, local traditions, daily life happening far away from the postcards. Yet globally, the postcard became bigger than reality. That's when you realize fame doesn't always tell the whole story. But the next place might be one of the greatest examples ever. Mount Everest. The moment you hear that name, you already see it. Snow, wind, extreme conditions. The highest mountain on Earth. Everest became something more than geography. It became a challenge, a dream, an achievement. People from all over the world know Everest. Even people who never travel. Even people who don't care about mountains. But ask where it is, and not everyone immediately says Nepal. That's incredible. One mountain became larger than the country in global imagination. People remember reaching Everest, but sometimes forget where Everest actually belongs. That's how powerful identity can become. And there's another interesting thing. Thousands dream of climbing Everest, but very few stop to explore Nepal itself. The mountain became the headline. The country became background. That's exactly what this entire video is about. But the next place may be the most surprising one, because this place became famous mostly through images. Bora Bora. Tiny island, huge reputation, crystal water, green mountains, luxury resorts floating over the ocean. You've probably seen Bora Bora somewhere. Travel videos, advertisements, social media, movies. People instantly connect it with paradise. But ask where Bora Bora actually belongs, and people hesitate. French Polynesia. And even that surprises people, because Bora Bora became so famous, it escaped its location. People stopped seeing it as part of somewhere else. It became its own dream destination. But before we finish, here's one more place. Monaco. Tiny country, massive recognition. And strangely, many people think Monaco is just a city. Luxury yachts, Formula One, casinos, ocean views, movies, fame. For some people, Monaco became more famous than the idea of it even being a country. That's how strange recognition can become. And maybe that's the most interesting thing about travel. People rarely fall in love with countries first. They fall in love with places. A mountain, a beach, a city, an island. One image, one moment. And then later, they discover everything around it. That's why some destinations become bigger than borders. And once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. So tell me, which place surprised you the most? And which famous destination do you think became bigger than its country? If you enjoyed this, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.